John, please clap it up for my depression and white liaison, John Moe, everybody.
Mike
please
Brown,
clap
everybody.
it up for him, please. Right here?
Have
Okay,
a
cool,
seat.
cool.
Can you
I'll bring it down.
move that? All
Let's
right.
stand up. Okay,
We
cool.
have music stands. These are things
Yeah.
that never happen
Okay,
in
cool.
studios.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, you were on episode 14 of our show, and
Yeah,
we
probably
just,
one of the greatest episodes. Of it.
Probably. We just wrapped episode 20 and closed out our season. What have the last 6 weeks been like for you since that show came out? Because you do comedy podcasts all the time. You're
Yeah.
a public figure. What's been the reaction since you were on our show?
Well, you know what? What was crazy? I have a friend, and when I say friend, it's like a friend of a friend. You know what I mean? Like somebody that you meet through somebody else. Maybe I should say a friend of a friend of a friend. You know what I mean? Someone who I would be like, oh, that's my cousin, but they're not really my. Anyway, so I got a postcard in the mail. Not even a postcard, like a real card.
Like a greeting card.
A greeting card from this friend who only texts me for my birthday or for like New Year's, like mass text type stuff. And he was like, hey, I listened to the podcast. I really appreciate you opening up. I've had so many bouts with depression myself, and if you want to talk, I would love to listen. If I can talk to you, that'd be great, but I think what you're doing is been like life-changing for me. And it's just like insane. I mean, and that's just with somebody I know. With people I don't know, I get emails all the time. I get Twitter messages, Instagram posts, and everything. So it's been really good.
But you've been talking. I mean, I found you online in some clips of you talking about this very openly. And
Yeah.
comedians do talk about depression, but often it's kind of obliquely or kind of in passing. And you've always kind of handled it head on. I wonder what went into the decision to do that.
Ooh, great question, John. You know what? I talked about it on the podcast. I know some people here haven't listened to the podcast. All 5 of you who haven't. I know everybody else has. But I had, for those who don't know, just so everybody's on the same page, I had checked myself into a mental hospital one time because I was just like totally done. And I have a brother who has border personality disorder. And he checked himself into a hospital the second time. The first time, it was a suicide attempt. He tried to take pills, and he didn't die from it. And I don't know how the fuck it didn't happen, but he didn't die from it. So when he checked himself into a hospital, and I was feeling down, I was like, I'm feeling down. I haven't felt like this in a while, so let me check myself in. And after coming out of the hospital, I think the biggest stigma for me was how people were going to treat me after, and thinking that I would be a different person, and being scared of what that person would be. And what I realized is that coming out of the hospital, I was a different person, as before the hospital, I was scared to deal with mental health. And after the hospital, I was like, no, this is how I'm dealing with it. Now I'm treating it. Now I'm coping with it. And so with comedy, it's like, oh, I have nothing to be afraid of. You know, it's all perspective. I don't have anything to be afraid of. Like, I can talk to you guys. I know, like, we all have, like, our secrets that hold us down or, like, mental health things. But for me, I'm like, oh, I'm already talking to strangers every fucking day. Like,
Well, and on the podcast, you talked about how your mom had said, podcast listeners, he's making a funny face. On the episode, you talked about how your mom had said, don't get in anybody else's business, keep your business to yourself.
Yeah.
There was a lot of the word business and the separation of business.
well,
And
every African American is a CEO and entrepreneur. So we're
Of their
very
own business.
focused on our business.
But how did your mom feel about you being this open and, you know, on our show and on other shows and just being so, you know, laying yourself so bare to this
Oh,
stuff?
she hated it. She hated this shit. Is Toki, you still here? Did he leave? See, he don't want to be in nobody's business. That's what he's doing. He's here. He's like, you ain't getting me involved.
None of my business.
So, hi there, guys in the back. I'm sorry. I'm like sitting behind John. So, my mother hated it. She hates it so much. She's like, why do you go and tell? Like, she doesn't even want to tell me when she's dating somebody because I do the joke about Tinder. I'm like, Mom, you don't even have Tinder. It's just a fucking joke. She's like, I don't want to tell you if I'm seeing anybody. So, she hates that I talk about it. But it wasn't until last week I was invited to speak at a high school later on this month, and I told her, I was like, hey, I'm speaking at a high school, and I'm speaking to these 11th and 12th graders just about mental health, and I'm going to the inner cities, and this is a thing that I'm doing that I never thought I would be doing. I thought I would just be doing stand-up and writing for TV and stuff. And she's like, oh, that's great. And I'm like, yeah, well, you see what happens when you start sharing some of your business, because you don't know who's going to be affected by it, who's going to be inspired by it. You know, like even tonight, like we're just having this conversation, and it's like, it's fun for me. It might be a lot of pressure for him for the 2-year anniversary. And so it's all right, John. But I don't know what's going to happen from here. So me talking now is just like, oh, I'm just being my truest self. And if this inspires you, then maybe you can do something and, you know, help affect and change somebody else's life for the better. So, yeah.
And the high school, just to draw it all back to our show, was the high school gig from somebody who had heard our show?
Yes, actually, it was a subscriber to the Hilarious World of Depression.
Ah, there we go.
I mean, if John makes it possible, you know, that's why his name is John Moe. Okay, in the streets we call him John Moe. Okay,
right.
It's just John M-O apostrophe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's John Moe.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Because you might want success. I don't want success. I want John Moe success.
Yeah.
You understand?
It's
I want some Moe. That's what. So hashtag want some Moe, and that's how you can get in touch with John Moe and the Hilarious World of Depression. We want to feel good about ourselves. We want some Moe.
That's
okay?
right.
That's what we're doing. I'm selling T-shirts in the back. If anybody wants.
My full last name is John, motivated to talk to people about depression.
Yeah. Which was too long for Twitter.
Abbreviated to John Moe.
Yeah, John.
Mike Brown,
Thank
everybody.
You. Thank you, everybody.